Only 5 teams have ever come back after losing the first 2 games at home. The top seed in the East looking to become the 6th. Donovan Mitchell had 48 last time out. Tyrese Halliburton, 19 points, including the game-winning 3 in Game 2. Let's go all access on the Pacers' historic 7-point comeback with less than a minute to go.
Yeah! It's a 2-point game. Halliburton missed the second, but the rebound's grabbed by Halliburton.
Ball came off. I jumped to grab it. And I was going to shoot the floater right there. I kind of was looking around, but I just wanted to get out to the top.
Halliburton brings it out front. Indiana can play for the tie or the win.
And then I just saw me and Ty Jerome at the top of the key. I had space.
Halliburton, 2 on the clock. 3, got it! And Indiana has won this game in unbelievable, stunning fashion.
Everybody in their life has imagined being a kid, being in the driveway, being in the living room, time winding down in their head, shooting it. This is a kid's game. I'm just having fun out there.
The Indiana Pacers in a Game 2 stunner.
Yo, back to Indy, baby. We on. Back to Indy, baby. Back to Indy.
Welcome to Playoff Central Live, presented by State Farm. That's the Hall of Famer, Vince Carter. And the champ is here, the 3-time champ, Udonis Haslem. I'm that other guy, Chris Miles. And this has been a great playoff run for these teams so far. We got 2 Game 3s in round 2. But let's start with the Pacers and the Cavs, because the top seed in the Eastern Conference, they were down 2 All-Stars and 3 starters, and still 48 points from Donovan Mitchell. Looked like they were going to win Game 2 until Tyrese Halliburton hit that game winner and that crazy comeback. So, UD, where are you on that epic Game 2 finish?
I mean, everybody, and rightfully so, is going to look at that last shot by Tyrese Halliburton. But I'm looking at the overall defense of the Cleveland Cavaliers for the first 2 games. A team that is 5th in the defensive rating, who gives up 52% against Indiana in the field goal, 46% in the 3, and in the season they give up 45% and 36%. That's a huge difference that you're giving up in the playoffs as opposed to the regular season. You're supposed to tighten up your defense in the playoffs, not loosen up your defense in the regular season. So I'm going to get into my coach mode right now and say it's not about that last shot.
Right.
If you play the way that you usually play and that you're capable of playing, that last shot doesn't even matter, and it doesn't come down to that.
I'll say this, with what he said, the defensive player of the year, Evan Mobley not being there.
True.
I think now you say, wow, did he make that much of a difference for their team? I think right now he is. They're able to get in the paint at will.
Yes.
They're not guarding the ball. So you're talking about DeAndre Hunter, who's not there. I even will say Darius Garland. You're missing guys that if you're not getting it done defensively, at least you got guys who can get you a bucket in Mobley, Garland, defend and shoot in DeAndre Hunter. So, yeah, I think they've lost their way a little bit defensively. They've earned the right to be the number 1 seed in the East, and I think they came in with the chest poked out a little bit.
I mean,
and the underdog said, you know what? We want what you want. We want to knock you off your stoop.
Yeah.
And they weren't ready to take that punch twice.
Well, here's a look at teams coming back from losing the first 2 games at home. We told you there was 5 of them. 2 won the championship, including those Houston Rockets in 1994. 2 instances have occurred in the last decade, including the Clippers in 2021. Here's Pacers head coach Rick Carlisle not trying to join this list.
Everybody's got to elevate their game this time of year. It starts with your best players. We've got to focus on what's to happen next, which is another opportunity to compete. This is a team who is the number 1 seed for a reason. It's probably really rare that they lose 2 games in a row. So we're going to see a desperate team, a team who's coming in here, to win 2 games. We're still in control of our destiny, and the series is far from over.
I mean, it's tough. That's what the playoffs are. We can move on and take some things that we did really well and go from there. It sucks, stings, but we got to go out there and take care of business. Otherwise, that's it.
They understand how this works. Your focus now is Game 3. They came in here and got 2. There's no reason why we can't go in there and get Game 3.
Let's welcome in Chris Fedor, who covers the Cavs for Cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. The top seed in the East has been down 2 All-Stars and 3 starters to start this second-round series. What's the latest on a return for Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and DeAndre Hunter?
Yeah, Chris, there's a lot of optimism for all 3 of those guys to be able to go tonight here in Game 3. Everything that I've heard throughout the last 12 hours or so is that all 3 of the guys are tracking to play in this one. I think the real question is, okay, how effective are they going to be? Obviously, DeAndre Hunter just injured his thumb in Game 1. How much of the swelling has gone down? How much can he handle the basketball? Is it going to affect his shooting? Darius Garland, this is the fastest team that he's going to play against all season long in the Indiana Pacers. So is he going to be able to be the same quick, athletic, stop, start, change of direction, dynamic point guard that he's been throughout the course of the regular season for the Cavs, helping them be the number 1 seed? And Evan Mobley, he heals quickly. That's something that he prides himself on. But the other night, prior to Game 2, he was having a hard time putting full weight on his injured ankle. He was able to go through shoot around. Darius, same thing. DeAndre, same thing. So it feels like all of these guys are going to be able to give it a go tonight. It's just a question of how effective are they going to be playing through these various injuries.
Yeah, and it seemed like the Cavs were good without them for most of Game 2. Donovan Mitchell, a big part of that, 48 points, 4 steals in that Game 2 loss. And saw the Pacers essentially do the impossible. What has Donovan said about the past 2 days being down 0-2 after playing at such a high level for his team to be in this spot?
Yeah, Donovan's remaining confident. He believes in the group that they have. He believes in the process that they've taken throughout the course of the regular season to get to this point. And multiple guys that have talked over the last 24, 48 hours have all said, hey, we have no choice. We have to move past what happened in Game 2. It wasn't good. It stings. One of the players called it an embarrassment, the way that they finished that game in Game 2. But they also said we have no choice. If we want to be a championship-level team, and that's what we do, then we've got to move past it, and we've got to find a way to get 2 games in Indy and bring this thing back to Cleveland, tied up at 2 games apiece.
You described the Cavs locker room as hushed and solemn after the Game 2 loss. Is there a sense that the way that they lost could linger into Game 3 tonight? You just kind of touched based on that, but did you get that sense from yourself listening to some of the guys?
Yeah, the way that Max Strus characterized it the other night, Chris, is that, hey, we're going to find out what we're made of. We're going to see if we're tough enough mentally to get over this, because it was a painful loss, and there were so many mixed emotions if you think about the aftermath of Game 2. But this is why, you're 64-win team. This is why you have the chemistry that you've built. This is why you lean on one another. So I think we are going to find out a lot about this Cavs group going into Game 3 tonight and how quickly they can turn the page, and if there is going to be any kind of mental hangover. They have talked all season long, Chris, about being a different team, being able to be connected and cohesive through adversity and prosperity. They feel like they've learned a lot throughout some of their playoff failures over the last 2 years. This is really going to be put to the test tonight. We're going to see a lot about this Cavs team.
Yeah, with the NBA Coach of the Year and 3 All-Stars, a big challenge down 0-2 in this second-round series. Chris Fedor from Cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer, thank you for spending some time with us. We appreciate it.
You got it. Anytime.
And Vince, we got to go with the guy that hit that game-winning shot again, Tyrese Halliburton. Look, 19 points, 4 assists, which is a low number for him there. But he was voted as the most overrated player in the regular season, came out and having an amazing playoffs. But how is he so effective and deceptive in the way that he's able to score?
First and foremost, he might have been voted most overrated, but he's most motivated.
Yes, sir. That's what they did. That's what they did.
Most motivated.
Yeah, and his basketball IQ is top notch, and he's a winner, and he believes in his game. He understands how to beat you with slow to fast. Mm-hmm. His body work, patience. You see here, you're taking the initial action away. I know what's on the backside of the action. Now I'm just going to outquick you, get to the paint. Here's another one. Basketball IQ. He's short. He said, yeah, I wanted to shoot it. Your body tells you, there's a lot of people around last second. All right, let me get the last shot. Patience. I have a guy in front of me I think that I can beat. We know he's known for getting to that 3-point line, hitting a big time clutch shot, which he did there. He was patient. He's been patient. He's taken his time. His numbers might not show it. His assists might not show as far as double digit, but he is doing what needs to be done in clutch time or whenever it's needed. I know you're going to have two people on me. Hey, for the good of the team, it's not about the assist. I can get the hockey assist as long as we get a bucket.
Now, on the flip side of that, Max Strus had a moment that he would like to forget, right, UD? Yeah. But you heard Chris Fedor just mention him. Tell us about Max Strus, your former teammate, and what we could expect in a bounce back from him.
And not just a former teammate, but a friend. You know, an undrafted guy who I really took a liking to. And what I know about Max is he's been battle-tested. He's a guy who has been to the finals with the Miami Heat. He's a guy who was undrafted. He's a guy who's been in the G League. He's a guy who's been cut. This is just basketball to him. He's been fighting for his life for a long time, so he will bounce back and he will play better. And he understands what mental toughness is in the playoffs. Nobody's reinventing the wheel right now. Nobody's running anything that the other team hasn't seen. It's going to come down to grit. It's going to come down to determination. It's going to come down to boxing out, no rebounds, no ring. And in the fourth quarter, your best player is going to pull them out and make big shots. But Max Strus understands that it's not a sprint. It is a marathon. He will be ready. Their team will be ready. And I love that Donovan Mitchell walked in with the Tupac shirt on.
All eyes on me.
All eyes on me, us against the world, baby. He set the tone. I see it. That's leadership in the slightest way.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I see it.
Yeah, we know Tupac, a legend, who his original name was MC New York. But that's a story for another day. Ty Jerome also from New York, Vince. And it seems as if maybe too much on his plate. This was a guy who was a finalist for Sixth Man of the Year.
In regular season, and if you have any success in the playoffs, you have a good game. Mm-hmm. What happens in the playoffs or the following game? You're now the focus of a shoot-around.
They own you like Huggies.
How do they now stop you? And he's just going through these things. Like in the regular season, you can have a big game. You go on to the next team who's doesn't get much time to prepare. When you're in the playoffs, we're focused on you for 7 games. And I think he just has to understand that. Like, find other ways. How else can I score? And a lot of guys, young guys, I hope you're watching guys like this because when you get in the playoffs, this is next level. We're not letting you score on your pet moves.
Yes.
Do you have a plan B? Do you have a counter move? And now, for him, I think now don't settle for the 3. Get downhill. Make up the plays and let it come back to you.
And I agree with you. And it's also Garland being out. Is now we can focus on you a lot more. You know what I'm saying? You're coming 100%. In. Yes, you're still coming off the bench, but you're a lot more of a focus on the things we're focusing on right now. So we got a little more time to tap in on Ty Jerome right now. So with that being understood, he has to watch film. He has to get in the lab. He has to bring his A game, but I think he'll bounce back. One thing he ain't going to do is he ain't going to stop shooting. He ain't going to stop shooting.
Are you talking about Ty Jerome or are you talking about this guy? MVP finalist, finished second last year in MVP voting. No one's able to stop Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's up next on Playoff Central Live, presented by State. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had an MVP-like game 2, missed just 2 shots, scored 34 points on just 13 shots. The Thunder scored an NBA playoff record 87 points in the first half. The series moves to Denver tonight, tied 1-1. Nuggets won 3 of 4 the first round at home. Here's how both teams adjusted after game 1 for game 2.
We didn't really change much. You know, I just thought we were a lot sharper. We get a little bit more used to the opponent, which is what happens in these series. I didn't think they played their best. You know, I think they're going to be a lot better in game 3.
The guys have always responded well to it. But just because you responded well before doesn't mean you're going to. So our whole focus as a group has to be about game 3, yes, but what are you learning from game 2?
Winning by 100 or winning by 2 is still 1-1. Every game's going to look different. Teams are going to make adjustments. It's going to be a different crowd, a different feel. You're going to start hot. You're going to start cold. Like, everything's going to look different, and it's important to take the emotion out of it.
Vince, you always hear coaches, all right, our defense leads our offense, but that is truly how the Thunder operate. We see those 87 points in the first half of game 2. Yeah, they average over 20 blocks and steals combined a game, and they're doing over that in this series. So what did you notice about how they use their defense to create offense?
And that's exactly what I was going to say. 12 steals, 8 block shots. I mean, that's just in active hands. And you'll see in UD's video, they're on a string. They're disruptors. So they're never going to leave a guy on an island by themselves. There's always someone nearby. And they just try to be active, be fast, and be a menace. And that's it. That was the difference. And I think their approach to this game, like, enough is enough. We lost on our home floor, which they felt was unacceptable, and they responded. And that's what good teams do.
UD, when I hear that, that sounds great, especially against perimeter guards or, a lot of really good players. But for someone who is virtually unstoppable like Nikola Jokic, and I mean that in stopping him from scoring,
yes,
but also his assist way down in both of these games, just 6 in Game 1 and Game 2. Can you show us exactly how the Thunder use that physicality to their advantage?
Yes, you're not going to stop the Joker. We got that out. But let's start right here. When they talk about on the pin down, we're going to switch the pin down to make sure he does not get an easy catch. We're going to pressure him on the perimeter. We're going to shrink the elbows. We're going to make sure there's a body in front of him. He's operating in traffic right now. That was literally 3 guys on him. He got started with Hartenstein, switched out with Casey Wallace, and then he had to go against Jalen Williams. Now he comes down. He wants to get into his ISO. Lou Dort shrinks his elbow. As soon as he picks the ball up, there's another guy rotating over. Hartenstein gets the steal. Now we're out on the break. Once again, the Joker is operating in traffic. It is very uncomfortable when you have no space. Now we're going to pin down right here. We're going to switch this pin down and curl. We're going to push him out to the three-point line. Yes, he can still make that shot. We're going to switch again. Now we're going to make sure we got 2 guys in the paint. So Joker is never getting an easy catch. There's always a body on him. He's seeing different looks, and he's operating in a crowd for 48 minutes. Yes, he is a hell of a player that is very uncomfortable, and Vince knows it because I wasn't a scorer, but he was.
Yeah. And what they're trying to do is make him play faster. You don't want great scorers to get comfortable seeing the same thing all the time. That goes to you as a defender. If I now try to crack the code and figure out, okay, this is how he's going to play me, it's the same old thing, I can get to my spot. But if they try to get into the body, switch him up, push him around, get him frustrated, throw different bodies at him. Mm-hmm. Every time he had his back turned, there was another defender on the way. So they tried to speed him up and make him play faster. And in his mind, he would see somebody open, but their active hands and their activity made him think that those passes were there, which were not.
Now, I'll tell you this much. When I look at Nikola Jokic, yes, he's going to need some more help because obviously they lost by 43 points. But after Game 1, we were saying that about the Thunder because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had the same stats in Game 1 as Game 2. But Jalen Williams, 5 for 20 in Game 1. Vince, what did you make of his Game 2 bounce back?
Just being just that, understanding, hey, I need to respond and help my guy out. Social media is there on your phone. You can open up. He hears the whispers. He hears the talk. And at the same time, he's like, hey, I'm not leaving you out there on the island. I need to step up. And that's what young guys do. That's what this team here is tight-knit. They stick together and they support each other. And I'm sure they all said, we all need to play better. And they responded just doing that, getting him going early. Him being active defensively opens up things offensively because, we tend to not score on the offensive end. We let our defensive activity suffer. Well, their defensive intensity was so high, they created easy baskets where he could get started. You see, he cut a lob, he got an easy dunk. That opens up everything you want offensively.
UD, when I look at the Nuggets and their 5 playoff wins so far, 2 of those have come on game winners from Aaron Gordon. How do they maximize him? Because it seems like when he is playing at that level, snatching rebounds, 20 points, they're winning, and that's supported by these stats.
To me, obviously, Joker is their best player. Jamal Murray is their second best player, but Aaron Gordon, to me, is their most important player. He is the player in the finals that we just didn't have an answer for. They put him down on that baseline where he works that dunker spot. If you step up on the Joker, he lobs that ball to him. He is shooting the ball at a 55% clip from the three-point ranges. Usually people will want to give him that shot, but he is making that shot now. And on the defensive end, he's going to take the challenge against your best offensive player and make sure he shuts him down, puts him in the box, and makes him work. Aaron Gordon, to me, and I've seen it with my own eyes in the finals, is their most important player. Not their best player. Joker's their best player. They can't win without Joker. But this is a guy who brings it all together and makes it all work.
Vince, one thing that Aaron Gordon said after the Game 1 win is he's like, we're trying to do this for Russ.
Yes.
Right? When you hear that and see this group, and obviously he had his brother's kids with him at the podium, what does it tell you about the Denver Nuggets and their mentality in this series?
The mentality, and it tells you a lot about Russ and how they respect him and how he's respected around the league. Like, one thing about Russ is he's going to put his hard hat on, he's going to work his butt off, and he's going to come to play whether we say whatever about Russ. And this team seems tight-knit. I mean, as a player that comes in and says, I'm just trying to get my guy this opportunity to hold up that trophy. That just says a lot about their team, their togetherness, and what they're trying to accomplish, because there were a lot of doubts about Denver Nuggets and will they be competitive and make it. But there was a response. Game 1, this is what we're going to do. They got hit in the mouth. Now they're at home. Let's see what they do.
I mean, he's saying after the coaching change. I mean, David Adelman has more playoff wins than he has regular season wins, UD. And that's the guy leading them right now. And he seems confident with this group.
Yes, I love watching his interviews. We were just talking about it. As he's sitting there, he's making great points, but he seems confident and comfortable in the points that he's making. Oftentimes, I can watch an interim coach, and regardless of what he say, I can always tell you by the look in his eyes, I don't believe him.
You don't believe him.
I looked that guy right in his eyes, and everything he was saying, I can tell he believes it. He believes in that team. He believes in his ability to coach that team, and he believes that they can win that series. And when your leader believes that, then it just trickles down to the other guys in the locker room.
I hear you. You're saying, no, he's not the substitute teacher that'll be gone tomorrow. He is the teacher that's coming in and is going to be there for the rest of the semester for this group. We understand. Denver Nuggets, Oklahoma City Thunder tipping off at 10. But first, the Cleveland Cavaliers and Indiana Pacers at 7:30. The Pacers in the last week have had 2 comebacks of 7 points or more in the last minute of the game. Historic. We've only seen 3 of those in the playoffs since 1998. Speaking of game winners, Vince, you ready for the throwback?
Uh-oh.
Yes.
You remember this?
Yes, I was a third option on here. But it's patience. Always being ready for the moment. 2001 against those Sixers, I missed this shot. And years later, I get that opportunity again and knocked it down, man. It was an exhilarating moment.
Is that your hustle man walk at the end?
Smooth, wasn't
You see it? That was like, you see that.
That was smooth.
Yeah, that's Vince Carter. That's Udonis Haslem. I'm Chris Miles. We will see you after both games conclude with the press conferences and a breakdown. See you later tonight.